Bonjour à tous and welcome back to Will and Your French. If you're here, you've probably already started learning how to conjugate French verbs. And if you haven't yet, no worries, check out this video first. How to conjugate French verbs in 2 steps. I'll link it right up here and in the description. Go watch it and come right back. Today, we're building on that foundation. We're going to tackle the 3 most important French tenses that will get you speaking confidently fast. Today, we'll cover present tense, le présent, for what's happening now, past tense, le passé composé, for what's already happened, and the near future tense, le futur proche, for what's about to happen. These are the tenses that show up in everyday conversations, text messages, even French movies. Allez, let's begin. The present tense, le présent. This is the tense you already started learning with ER, IR, and RE verbs. It's used for things happening now. It's used for habits or general truths. Let's delve into the structure of the present tense. We have the subject plus the conjugated verb in the present, it's in the present tense of that verb, plus a complement, which is optional. You don't have to add it, but you can add it depending on the sentence you are making. Now let's take a few examples. Let's see some examples with ER verbs. Je mange, I eat, or I am eaten. Tu parles, you speak, or you're speaking. Nous aimons, we love, or we are loving. Let's see with IR verbs. Tu finis, you finish. Il choisit, he chooses. Nous réussissons, we succeed. Let's move on to the RE verbs. Il vend, he sells. Vous attendez, you wait. Ils répondent, they answer. Notice that I did not use a complement in these examples. Now, where do we use this tense? We use present tense for actions happening right now. Right now, j'enseigne le français aux étudiants. I'm teaching French to students. Now, we also use it for general truths. Let's see examples of that. Le soleil se lève à l'est. The sun rises in the east. Or, la terre tourne autour du soleil. The earth orbits the sun. Those are general truths, and you can use present tense to express that. You also use it for habits and routines. Habits are things you do every day, regularly, without fail. Like you wake up in the morning and you brush your teeth. Tous les matins, je me brosse les dents. Je me douche à 8 heures du matin. I have my bath at 8 o'clock in the morning. Now let's see more examples. Nous mangeons à 8 heures. We eat at 8 o'clock. Vous travaillez beaucoup. You work a lot. You regarde la télé. They are watching TV. Now notice how all these describe current or regular actions. And you use the present tense to say what you're doing right now, as I mentioned earlier, and what you usually do. These are present tense actions. Simple but powerful. This tense helps you to express who you are today. The past tense, le passé composé. This is the tense for completed actions. This is the tense for actions that already happened, like telling someone what you did yesterday, last night, last year, etc. But here's where French gets a bit different from English. To form the passé composé, you need the structure or the formula. which are the subject plus the auxiliary verb plus the past participle. The subject is either a noun or a subject pronoun. The noun, is the name of a person, animal, place, or thing. And subject pronouns just like I, you, he, is, in French is je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, il, and elle. Auxiliary verbs, we have avoir or être. Those are the two auxiliary verbs that we use for past tense in French. Now let's look at the past participles. How do we get our past participles? For regular verbs, that's the ER, the IR, and for RE verbs, they have their endings. For ER verbs, as always, chop off the tail, that's the ending of the infinitive ER, and you add your E accent aigu, that's your E with an acute accent. That's the example there. Manger. We've chopped off the tail, the ER, and we added the E with an acute accent. That's the past participle of manger. The same applies for the IR regular verbs. An example is finir. We chop off the tail and we add the ending I, gives us fini, and that's the past participle for fini. And the same applies for any verb that falls under this group of verbs that are regular verbs. RE verb, you chop off the ending, that's the RE in the infinitive form, you add the U and it becomes vendu for the verb vendre. And that's the past participle for the verb in the infinitive. Vendre becomes vendu in the past participle. Let's pause a bit here and talk a bit more about the auxiliary verbs. But what's an auxiliary verb? Auxiliary verbs are helping verbs. Avoir and être are what we call auxiliary verbs. That means they help. They help form compound sentences like the past. In French, we either use avoir or être to form the Passé Composé. So instead of using just one verb like in English, which just says I ate, you need a helper in French. So what's the structure like for the Passé Composé? We have the subject plus the auxiliary verb avoir or être in the present tense plus the past participle. Now you ask, when do you use être instead of avoir? Now most verbs use avoir, that's a verb to have, while a special group use être. Let's expand on that a bit. If it's a verb that involves movement like aller, the verb to go, venir, the verb to come, or changing states like the verb naître, the verb to be born, mourir, the verb to die, you'll likely use être. Reflexive verbs like se coucher, se lever, se coucher is to go to bed, and se lever is to wake up, you also use être. Reflexive verbs, you're wondering what that is? Don't worry, we'll cover them more in our next video, so hit subscribe so you don't miss that lesson. Now note this, it's very important. Because these verbs use être, you must also make the past participle agree with the subject in gender and number. What does this mean? When a verb uses être in the past tense, the past participle, that's the main verb part, must match the subject in gender, so it's either male or female, and number, so it's either singular or plural. That's called agreement in French, accord. And yes, it's a little different from English, but not too hard once you get it. Let's try sentences in the past tense with avoir, which is more common. Examples. J'ai mangé, I ate. Tu as regardé, you watched. Nous avons fini. We finished. Now, these are examples in the past tense that are used with avoir as an auxiliary verb. Now, let's see examples with être, which are used with movement and reflexive verbs. Elle est allée. Elle est allée. Elle est allée. Elle est allée. She went. Nous sommes venus. We came. Ils sont partis. They left. Je me suis levé. Je me suis levé. I got up. Elle s'est couchée. She went to bed. Elle s'est couchée. She went to bed. Notice that the verbs that use être as an auxiliary, they are agreed in gender and in number with the subject. As I said earlier, when we use être to form the Passé Composé in French, we have to make the past participle agree with the subject in gender and number. For example, elle est allée. She went. Because elle is feminine, we add an E to allée, and so it becomes allée with an extra E. Now listen to this. Nous sommes venus. We came. Here, nous is plural, so we add an S to venu, making it venu with an S. Now, if the group was all women, that would be nous sommes venus, but this time with ES. Here's another one. Ils sont partis. They left. Il is masculine plural, so parti becomes parti with an S. And for a group of women, elles sont parties with ES to show feminine plural. So remember, add E if the subject is feminine, add S if it's plural, and add ES if it's both feminine and plural. Now, what about reflexive verbs? Listen to this one. Je me suis levé. I got up. If a man says this, there will be no change. It will be just levé. But if it's a woman speaking, je me suis levé, you add an extra E. And finally, elle s'est couchée. She went to bed. Because the subject is elle, we add an E to coucher, and it becomes coucher with an extra E. That's it. With être, the past participle must match the subject in gender and number. Still a bit tricky? Don't worry. Just keep listening and repeating. It will click. But here's a pro tip. Ever heard of Dr and Mrs Vandertramp? It's a clever way to remember the verbs that use être in the Passé Composé instead of avoir. These verbs usually show movement or a change of state. Let's break them down. Dr and Mrs Vandertramp. Ready? Let's go. D for devenir, to become. Elle est devenue médecin. She became a doctor. R for revenir, to come back. Il est revenu hier soir. He came back last night. M for monter, to go up or to climb. Nous sommes montés au 3e étage. We went up to the 3rd floor. R for rentrer, to go back in or to return. Je suis rentré tôt. I got back early. S for sortir, to go out. Elles sont sorties ensemble. They went out together. V for venir, to come. Tu es venu me voir? Did you come to see me? A for arriver, to arrive. Ils sont arrivés en retard. They arrived late. N for naître, to be born. Je suis né en avril. I was born in April. D for descendre, to go down. Elle est descendue au rez-de-chaussée. She went down to the ground floor. E for entrer, to enter. Nous sommes entrés dans la salle. We entered the room. R for retourner, to return. Il est retourné à Paris. He returned to Paris. T for tomber, to fall. Elle est tombée dans les escaliers. She fell down the stairs. R for rester, to stay. Nous sommes restés chez nous. We stayed home. A for aller, to go. Je suis allé au marché. I went to the market. M for mourir, to die. Il est mort en 1920. He died in 1920. P for partir, to leave. Elles sont parties ce matin. They left this morning. I know it's a long list, but the Dr and Mrs Vandertramp trick really helps. Once you know these verbs, you will remember they always take être in the Passé Composé. That also means that past participles must agree with the subject in gender and number. So, feminine, add E. Plural, add S. Feminine and plural, add ES. Keep listening, keep repeating, and soon, Dr. and Mrs. Vandertramp will feel like old friends. Want to know when someone's talking about the past? Pay attention to the time expressions. They are your clues. Here are a few to watch out for. You have examples like hier, that means yesterday. La semaine dernière, last week. Il y a 2 jours, 2 days ago. And here's how they show up in real French. Hier, j'ai regardé un film. That means yesterday, I watched a movie. Let's break it down. J'ai regardé is Passé Composé. That's the past tense we're using here. And we use the auxiliary verb avoir. So to recap, avoir and être are called auxiliary verbs. They are essential for forming the Passé Composé, which is the most common past tense in French. Now let's move on to the near future tense, also known as le Futur Proche. This is hands down the easiest way to talk about the future in French. You're basically saying, I'm going to, just like in English. Here are some common time clues to listen for. Demain, which means tomorrow. Ce soir, this evening. Bientôt, which means soon. And la semaine prochaine, which means next week. The formula is super simple. We have the subject plus aller in the present tense, conjugated in the present tense, plus the verb in the infinitive form. That's the non-conjugated form. I repeat, you have the subject plus aller conjugated in the present tense, plus the verb in the infinitive form. That's the non-conjugated form. So, you're using 2 verbs. The first is aller, which is to go, and the second is the action, like eat, to learn, or travel. Now, you'll hear this a lot in daily conversations because it's perfect for making plans or predictions. Let's look at some examples. Je vais parler. I'm going to speak. Tu vas étudier. You're going to study. Elle va voyager. She's going to travel. Nous allons apprendre. We are going to learn. Ils vont regarder un film. They are going to watch a movie. And here's the real sentence in context. Demain, je vais rencontrer mes amis. That means tomorrow, I'm going to meet my friends. Now, repeat after me. Je vais parler. Tu vas étudier. Elle va voyager. Nous allons apprendre. Ils vont regarder un film. See? Super simple, super useful, and it sounds completely natural in spoken French. Time to wrap it all up. Let's go over what we've learned. First, the present tense. Use it to talk about things happening right now or things that are always true. Then, the Passé Composé. This is your go-to past tense. You will need an auxiliary verb, either avoir or être, followed by the past participle. And finally, the Futur Proche. It's the easiest way to talk about what you are about to do. Just say aller plus infinitive. With just these three tenses, you can say more than 80% of everything you need in daily French conversation. Yes, seriously. Let's compare them side by side. The present tense, je parle, I speak, I am speaking. The past tense, j'ai parlé, I spoke, I have spoken. Futur, that's the futur proche, je vais parler, I am going to speak. And here's one last golden tip. Time markers are your best friend. They help you feel the right tense before you even start conjugating. Things like hier, demain, souvent, maintenant, they set the tone. Bravo! You've just unlocked a huge part of French grammar. Let's keep going. Now let's test what you've just learned. Try to answer these before I reveal the answers. Ready? How do you say they are eating in French using the present tense? What's the passé composé of aller for elle? Translate this into French using the futur proche. We are going to travel. And lastly, which auxiliary verb do we use in the passé composé for reflexive verbs? Let's check your answers. Number 1, il or elle mange, they are eating. Number 2, elle est allée, she went. Remember, aller uses être in the past. Number 3, nous allons voyager, we are going to travel. 4, and for reflexive verbs, the answer is être. Nice job if you got them all right. And hey, if you didn't, don't stress. Just rewind and rewatch the parts that tripped you up. Learning a language takes time, and remember, grammar is just a tool. The real goal is speaking confidently, even with a few mistakes. You've got this. Let's keep going. And if you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up so more French learners can see it too. Let me know in the comments which French tense do you struggle with the most. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our next video. Merci et à très bientôt.